Morning, morning, morning. Yes, we're back with another episode. Another rider. Today we have, is Indy?
It's Enid.
Enid,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the one.
He's in the house. He's a personal trainer at the famous
Equinox, yeah,
Equinox
that's the
gym.
Yeah.
Now, for those who don't know, it's a place where super rich people, wealthy people, bankers and that and up get their training. And he's agreed to do like a talk with me about my injuries. So obviously you all know I've had this groin abductor injury, and let's take it from there. So nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
So first from all, let's get a quick resume. How long you been in the industry? Where did you study?
Been working in the industry for about 10 years or so right now. I studied, initially I was a professional footballer for about 3 years.
Okay.
I was at QPR, Brentford, and then Besiktas over in Turkey. So been a few places.
Is your background Turkish?
No, background's actually Albanian, so family's from Albania.
Okay, but you born here?
I was born and raised here, yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised here.
So QPR, I think we should, before we jump into, I'm gonna, already got a little bit of time. What was it like at QPR?
It was good back then. I mean, the academy wasn't, or the development centre wasn't as developed as it is right now. It's obviously grown in the last 3 to 5 years or so. Especially Brentford's, their one's kind of taken a huge upward kind of curve. There's a lot more investment.
Yeah, I went up to Brentford the other day.
Yeah.
It's a nice setup, lots
It
of
looks
small
great.
pits, yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
I interviewed the Crawley Football Club owner.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, he's really good with NFTs. I'll talk to you about that later. But go on anyway, go on.
So that's where the actual kind of passion came from. I always wanted to work in sports and I wanted to work within that industry. So then I got a sports scholarship at the University of Bath, and that's where I studied sports science. I did my master's in exercise physiology, and I specialised in strength and conditioning, so working with athletes. Spent about 6 months working at Leicester with their youth team. I worked with the rugby team at Bath, and then I kind of made my way back to London, where I grew up.
So when you was at the QPR, you was a football player?
Yeah, I was in the youth team there.
You in the youth team, and then you decided to pursue on to other...
education. I was released. I got released a few times. Not because of an injury like everyone says, it just wasn't good enough.
Honesty is the best policy?
Exactly. So yeah, just... That's part of the football at the moment. It's super competitive.
So my groin injury that I got when I was playing football, you've heard of that commonly?
Yeah, it's super common.
And how long does it usually take to heal before someone can start running? Mine's been about 3 months, and if I start to run after 4 or 5 steps, it still hurts your bollocks.
Okay, so it really depends on the type of injury, what grade injury it is, grade 1 or grade 2, grade 3. Is it a full tear? Is it a rupture? There's a lot of kind of information you need around the actual issue. I mean, was it a full rupture of the...
You know what, the doctor didn't actually tell me. They just said one of the adductors is detached. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Well,
so it's come off the bone, essentially.
Well, I assume he's saying. He said the other two are compensating for the one that's not working. He didn't even tell me which one it was.
I see. So, I mean, those kind of injuries, it's all about... So when you play sports, there's obviously a lot of lateral movement that's involved. You're moving laterally forward, linear, backwards. And the muscles, the adductors, they're not actually that big in size in comparison to your glutes and your quads and your hamstrings. They're absorbing a lot of impact. So as you're changing direction, what you're doing is you're producing force into the ground, right? So they're using these muscles, these adductors are stabilizing everything else. So when they're not strong enough, injuries like these start happening. Now, when we start looking at specific sports, let's look into football, for example. They have a very poor background in strength and conditioning. You look at some of these football players, you know, their strength and conditioning training is actually pretty behind in comparison to other sports, especially in the US, where they spend a lot of money on strength conditioning and building these athletes. There's also this other part. If you kind of think about how long a pre-season is for a footballer, do you know how long? It's about 4 weeks or so. Whereas, so in that 4 weeks, that's the time frame you use to really build strength. So if you think about 4 weeks, it's kind of nothing, right? It's not a long period of time.
You think a boxer would do 3 months before...
Exactly, 3 months. If you look at the NFL, they do 6 months, right? An NFL season is about 4 or 5 months, I think. So that's the amount of time they get to really put on muscle, put on size, and put on strength. The footballer doesn't have that sort of time. So that's where the difficulty is. You don't really have that time to build the strength around the muscles to help you during the season. Hence why there's so many injuries. you kind of look at, do you remember Michael Owen in 2000? I think
I've
it
heard
was
of
2000.
Michael Owen, yeah.
Yeah, there was a 2006 World Cup, and you know, Michael Owen at the time was probably one of the best strikers in the world, if not the best. And he's come on off the bench, and within 3 minutes, he's gone and done his ACL. Like, it was just, he just took a step to the side and his ACL was gone. That shouldn't be happening with a professional footballer. A professional footballer should be able to handle that sort of situation. So then it goes back to what I was saying. It's building the strength in the gym, building the right sort of foundations for the body to move within sport. And that's what football's really lacking in comparison to many other sports.
Now, just to add, throw in there, what I did 48 hours later, once I've been in hospital and stuff, I was in the pool. So I went on YouTube, looked at what I can do exercise where I don't like not to exercise, and it said I can swim or cycle. I thought maybe not cycle, so if getting on and off the bike might, you know. So I was swimming, but I wasn't swimming very well. I was doing like, I can swim very well, but a really slight kick.
Okay.
And then over time I've been able to swim on my back, and then the kicking's been getting better, and then I've been swimming like doing breaststroke.
Okay.
And it's sometimes you feel like a pool kind of click.
Yeah.
But it's just working it. And then I've been doing isolated weights, so where I don't think. Is there anything else you suggest, and does that sound like it's a good thing?
No, that's perfect. Anything which is kind of minimal impact, so nothing where there's impact going into the adductor. So running, sprinting, kind of jumping, things like that where you're putting load into the body is probably what you want to stay away from. Cycling and swimming are great because it's just building that sort of initial strength that you need around the area. A lot of kind of isometric stuff. Do you know what that kind of stuff is? So isometric is when you hold an exercise. So let's say
like the plank.
Like a plank, exactly. So a plank is an isometric exercise, and it's just building those kind of foundations again back in the adductor.
Yes, recently I went on YouTube again, looked at exercises to do for a groin injury. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, but now you see things where you're just holding your leg certain places and moving it in. And it's what seems like a strange position, but when you actually think of a sport or even a daily activity, that's how you move.
Exactly.
But you just don't realise it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's the recovery is obviously going to be quite tough, especially if you're trying to figure it out by yourself. But isometrics are probably your way forward to start off with. So that's holding a position, then slowly start working on kind of the eccentric part of the exercise. So let's say if you're doing a squat, for example, for ease sake, it's just really going slow on the way down. Just teaching the body to learn the movement again.
To get used to it. Yeah,
exactly.
So I used to do squats all the time.
Okay.
And I stopped because since I've had this injury, but now I'm going to start doing it, dipping down a bit to where I feel a bit uncomfortable, but and then come up, just practice doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Just again, it's just about getting the body used to moving again. Those are the key principles. It's correcting those dysfunctions that the body might have developed over time. What people don't realize is every injury kind of has a consequence on the body. So if you've, let's say, torn your adductor, something will compensate. It might be your glutes, it might be your lower spine, it might be your abductors. There's loads of kind of compensations that may happen, and what you want to do is avoid that from happening.
Well, we've come to the end of your journey.
Yep.
It's been great. Where can people find you?
So it's Enid, that's INID _Leksina, LEKSINA. That's my Instagram.
Okay.
That's probably the best place.
Well, thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
And we wish you well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.